Hello again, my friends, and welcome to an episode with your host, the one, the only, the chosen one, the eighth wonder of the world, the turned. And today, I'm gonna make a special video. This video was gonna be my very first movie review. This is gonna be devoted 100% to movie review of a recent film I just watched. As you can see with the footage, I chose this game, The Force Unleashed 2, as a background for my review. So you will get a picture of what movie I am going to review for you today. That's right, that's Star Wars: The Last Jedi, directed by Rian Johnson, also known for being the director of the film Looper, one of my favorite films for the 21st century. In terms of sci-fi content, very, very nice film. So, coming back to The Last Jedi, first I'm just gonna give you a quick synopsis. It's gonna be full of spoilers. That's the first thing I'm gonna let you guys know. So if you have not seen this film yet and you wanna watch it, please do not watch this video until you have finished watching the film. Either on you see it on the theater or somehow you find it a copy somewhere. I'm not gonna encourage that. I'm not but I'm not your daddy for that, so it's up to you. So first things first is gonna make the quick synopsis of what it's all about. Again, if you have not seen this film, please stop watching this video, watch something else. They're just gonna warn you right away. So if you have not seen this movie, please do not watch this video until you have seen it, okay? Alright, so if you are still there, let's move forward. So The Last Jedi starts with the Resistance fleeing their base from the First Order. So they are running away with these escape battleships, and they have the First Order with their fleet of giant star destroyers kind of bombarding the planet. And we have Poe Dameron coming in to basically distract the First Order from attacking the Resistance, and he starts making fun of General Hux basically by kind of looking like he was calling from a phone, and he's kind of trying to say hello, hello, and General Hux can hear him loud and clear, but Paul Dameron is kind of playing around with him, saying, "Oh no, I cannot hear anything." So basically, this is a message I have to bring from Princess General Leia, and he just starts shooting at one of the Star Destroyer's turrets with his X-wing. And while he's doing that, Leia kind of wants to dispatch a group of bombers, starcraft, so basically some starships carrying some bombs to carpet bomb one of the Star Destroyers. So one of the Star Destroyers that are accompanying the Star Destroyers being attacked, they start shooting and sending TIE fighters to aid the other Star Destroyers being attacked. And basically all these bombing starships are being destroyed one by one. They have like 7 or 8. So one of them is able to reach his goal to carpet bomb one of the Star Destroyers, and it's this young lady that is struggling to deploy these bombs, and while she's doing that, the Starship is destroyed, so she dies, but she's able to carpet bomb the Star Destroyer with her starship, and she basically dies. And while we're at it, we know that General Leia she kind of ordered these ships to come back because they're being attacked, and kind of Poe Dameron says, "No, you have to keep attacking. We must destroy this ship." So when he comes back to the starship, Leia basically shoots him. She slaps him, saying that she didn't give that order to keep attacking that Star Destroyer, and she orders him to be demoted, and she grounds him for the rest of the film. While we are at it, the fleet with the survivors from the attack of the Resistance of the First Order escape to deep space at light speed, and they kind of reach at some point that they're supposed to be safe. We move to Act 2, where Luke is hiding, and we see Luke and Rey talking that about the lightsaber. Basically, Rey gives him the lightsaber, to his hands, and he looks at the lightsaber and he tosses it away. Uh, so Rey goes back to the lightsaber and she tries to convince him to come back, and she says, "No, I'm gonna supposed to die along with Jedi because I don't want to know about the Force anymore." And she discovers that he got cut off from the Force, and basically, pretty much we have Luke like a broken man instead of a hero that we have, the tragic hero we know. He basically leaves the island like a hermit, along with a group of aliens known as the Keepers. So basically, they look like Noons, but look like a reptilian type of Noons. So small humanoids with reptilian appearance. We have some that look like nannies, pretty much, like the old school nannies or maids or whatever. I really don't know. Anyway, so Rey kind of tries to convince him to at least train her to know exactly what is the Force about and all this stuff. There's a lot of very funny moments along with them. Until at one point, she finds out that he kind of was responsible for Kylo Ren to go full evil. So the scenes that we see in the Force Awakens are not in any way related to what happened with Kylo Ren. So what really happened was Kylo Ren was being trained by Luke because he was at his Jedi Academy somewhere in another planet. I don't know exactly which planet it was. So Kylo Ren gets trained by Luke, and Luke sends him to. So basically, Luke goes to his chamber. He was sleeping. Kylo Ren was sleeping, and Luke kind of was able to look into Kylo Ren's future, and he finds out that Kylo Ren becomes evil. And Luke, by looking at this future, he pulls out his lightsaber and was about to kill him while he was sleeping. At least that's what we believe is what happened. While we're at it, this is revealed by Kylo Ren to Rey because somehow they are able to communicate through deep space, through the Force. And he tells her that Luke tried to kill him, and therefore he's not in the best interest of Rey because he probably gonna kill her as well. So this is basically what Kylo Ren is trying to play race with Rey to see her convert her into the dark side somehow. I don't know if it's just gonna convert to the dark side. That is still unclear in this movie. So Rey and somehow Rey talks with Luke about this, and Luke reveals that he saw his future and he believed that that Kylo was supposed to turn bad anyway, even though he finds out later that he perhaps was responsible for that, and therefore he went into exile thinking that he was responsible for that. So Rey insists that he was his only hope and whatever, basically mirroring the scene from The Empire Strikes Back, where Ben Kenobi and Yoda talk about Luke as the last hope. Anyway, we're going back to the fleet from the Resistance that's running from the First Order, and it is revealed that the Resistance is running out of fuel. We're talking about starships that run across the galaxy in just a couple of minutes or probably hours, and they're running out of fuel. That was kind of like, you're making me look stupid. You're making me the viewers. I feel like that. I'm feeling like whoever greenlit this in the script thinks that we are stupid. So, so the fleet runs out of fuel, and instead of basically using an escaping pod somewhere and trying to find out somewhere else to hide, basically scatter the fleet. The whole fleet is running at ridiculously slow speed, and by one, they're running out of fuel, and the First Order is kind of taking them out. It's just using the Star Destroyers to start shooting at them and killing whoever is in those ships. So we are at this contrived plot here Finn tries to escape the one of the starships that has Leia with it, and so basically we have. Oh, before this, Kylo Ren goes out because Snoke told him to go out and finish the First Order, the Resistance, to prove that he was completely his training as a probably a Sith or a dark side, whatever organization is using now the dark side to their advantage. So he goes out and basically his orders were to kill General Leia. So he goes out with a couple of his minions, co-pilots or wingmen, and with his TIE fighter and two more TIE fighters, and they start shooting at the starship, Mon Calamari cruise. The Mon Calamari cruise has General Leia, and basically it also has Admiral Akbar. So while Kylo Ren and his starfighter pilots are at it, he starts shooting, and he kind of feels the presence of Leia. So before he starts shooting, one of his co-pilots starts shooting and is able to destroy the main cabin that has Leia and Admiral Akbar and the other admirals, and all of them are sucked out to the void of space, so the vacuum of space, and this is the other unbelievable scene. So Leia is floating on space. I mean, yeah, it can be unbelievable, but Star Wars is fantasy. So Leia opens her eyes, is seeing the deep space floating, and is able to somehow extend her hand towards back to the ship. And she kind of is able to touch one of the blast doors that go closed because the space starts to open up and all the vacuum of space comes in. And the other guys that are still at the ship are able to rescue her, and they kind of put her in some sort of chamber so she can recover from her wounds. While we are at it, somebody's delegated the position of general, so they put an admiral, which basically is Laura Dern, the new admiral in charge, the new general in charge. So this admiral goes out and say, you know, guys, we kind of have to escape to the nearest planet. I know there's a planet nearby that we must escape there. And while we are at it, there was some discussion about the starship from that Snoke is piloting. There's basically this one of the big capital starship, like probably 100 kilometers one wingspan. Is very look like a giant stealth bomber, pretty much. So we have this stealth bomber, and basically they kind of find out that there's some weak spot in that spaceship, and if they destroy the spaceship, they can destroy the other Star Destroyers. Basically the same plot as the Death Star or the Star Killer base. So Finn wakes up, when we're talking about all of this, Finn wakes up, he meets Rose, she's the new character, she's the sister of the pilot that died in the first scene of the film. And they both kind of connect with each other, and they go out to find basically a hacker to open up this weak spot, to basically exploit this weak spot in the ship from Supreme Leader Snoke. And they just go out to this casino planet where they can meet this hacker, and they can go out and go back and destroy this ship, basically destroying the First Order in the process. Anyway, they go to this casino planet, and they find out that instead of meeting with this hacker, they meet with a prisoner that also knows a little bit of hacking, and this prisoner is able to escape from this prison and goes along with them. So basically, I will compare him with he's the mirror of Lando Calrissian. You will know about it later. So basically, they go out of this prison in this planet, this casino planet, and they go with BB-8 and BB-8 and this Benicio del Toro character goes out in this ship they stole, and basically they just go out and save Rose and Finn, that they escape the prison they went in with in one of these horse/horse type of creatures, and these horse fox creatures are used for basically they use them for type of horse race in this planet, and they are they are being shown being mistreated by some sort of trainer, and they just go out and escape with these fox horses out of this casino planet, and this casino city pretty much, and they go out into the wilderness of the planet, and basically Benicio del Toro goes out to save Rose and Finn while they escape the city in this ship, and they just go back to the whatever the resistance is, or they're slowly moving away from the First Order. So contrived. Anyway, we are back with Act 2. Finn and Luke are still training. Ray and Luke are still training, and Ray discovers that within the same island that Luke is, there's a dark side region. There's a focus of dark side, basically like in Dagobah, where this guy Yoda was, and basically he just go out. Ray goes out to this probably castle-like, cave-like place, and she finds out she wants to know who she is. So she touches this image of this glass type of material in a wall in this cave, and she finds out that there's an infinite reflection of herself. So that makes me believe that she somehow some sort of force, probably a reflection of a force. Is basically I don't know what to call it, some sort of child of the force, just like Anakin was. Instead of being used for some experiment, she was probably a natural occurrence of the force to balance out the evil that's going on in the world. I don't know, the galaxy. Anyway, so she's a reflection. She sees an infinite reflection of her because she doesn't know where she comes from. And basically, the cave shows her, yes, you are just you. You're basically your own person. There's nothing about you. And with that learned, she goes out and she keeps that. When we're talking about this, she keeps that to herself, and she is able to communicate with Kylo Ren. And she finds out later that she learns about Luke being responsible for Kylo Ren turning to the dark side. So she goes back to the village that Luke is, and she basically goes back with to basically go back to the Resistance and Kylo Ren and basically face him, because of course Luke is not going to face him. So while we're at it, she doesn't reveal anything to Luke that she's able to communicate with Kylo Ren. And she goes out and she wants to face Kylo. And basically Luke is left behind. He wants to basically finish up everything and wants to destroy a book, some series of books that he basically a place, the first Jedi temple pretty much, which is a small tree next to the village that he's hiding in Act 2. So he sees, he's going with some sort of fire producing type of cylinder. He sees Yoda, and Yoda tells him to go ahead and exploit it and set it on fire. So he just go out and he wants to set it on fire, but at the last minute he chickens out, and basically Yoda looks at him, starts laughing, and basically sends a lightning down from the heavens and destroys the first Jedi temple. And he tells Luke that everything that was in there is nothing anymore because all the books were taken by Rey, so he doesn't have to worry about all the information being lost. And he tells Luke that the best master is actually failure. So if he failed Kylo, it was nothing to be ashamed for. So basically, that was one last training that was given to Luke by Yoda. So we're back with we're back again to the space area where the Resistance is running from the First Order. We go back to Finn and Rose, and Benicio del Toro and BB-8 are back to the ship from Snoke, that giant ship, and also Rey is able to meet with Kylo. She goes out of the Millennium Falcon in an escape pod, and is met by Kylo. While Chewie and Chewie is back to, and R2-D2 are still in the Millennium Falcon. So she goes down to that giant starship. She meets Kylo, and Kylo takes her prisoner back to Snoke. So they're back at Snoke's throne room, and he's surrounded by these badass red guards similar to the Emperor's red guards. A little bit more, I would say they're a little bit more dynamic, and they have a vast array of different combat weapons with them. So they're back in there, and so basically Snoke starts taunting Rey and torturing her using the Force, and he takes her lightsaber. So at that point, after so much torture, Snoke puts Rey in front of Kylo so Kylo can kill her with his lightsaber. And he's still holding Rey's lightsaber, Anakin's lightsaber. And Kylo, without Snoke even noticing, goes ahead and kills him with that lightsaber using the Force. And basically he doesn't even realize that he was too proud, and I think he was a little bit smug about being able to control Kylo. At the end of the day, it was not the case. So Rey and Kylo start fighting these red guards. It was a very badass scene. I kind of give them that, and they pretty much start destroying the starship along with it. So Benicio del Toro kind of betrays Rose and Finn to Captain Phasma in exchange for money. So he's able to escape. Finn and Rose are taken prisoners by Captain Phasma, and basically, while Rey and Kylo are fighting, somehow the spaceship starts failing because BB-8 was able to smuggle into one of these Imperial walkers, it's basically First Order walkers, start shooting at everybody using his tiny little mechanical arms. And yeah, all hell's breaks loose. Captain Phasma falls to a fire pit, probably she died. Finn and Rose are able to escape, and while Kylo Ren and Rey are fighting, they kind of want to get back the Luke/Anakin lightsaber, and they break it while they're trying to pull the lightsaber to them using the Force. So Rey escapes, and now Kylo Ren takes over the First Order armies by kind of intimidating General Hux to follow along with him. So they escaped all this craziness. The Resistance escaped to a planet, and at the planet, so how the First Order is able to follow them again at slow speed. Laura Dern, the admiral that takes over Princess Leia's or General Leia's, she is able to distract the First Order by running her cruise, Mon Calamari cruise, towards the capital ship using a kamikaze move, where she was basically moving the cruise at light speed. So the light speed, basically by running by light speed, she can use it. You kind of turn the cruise like a giant laser, and kind of creep past, kind of cross the starship, the giant starship, and basically breaks it in 3 parts. So that was a very badass scene. Uh, so again, everybody, the Resistance is able to escape to that planet, and at that planet, there's kind of the final match between the Resistance and the First Order. Basically, the Resistance using very old Rebellion ships to fight them. This is the scene that we see in the trailers. Rey and Leia. Leia's recovered from her wounds, and is able to escape along with everybody else. And basically, Poe Dameron, Finn, Rose, and the rest of the pilots that are still alive go out in these old, the relictic ships and start kind of distracting the First Order from attacking the main base in that planet. And basically, Rose saves Finn at one time because he tried to use a kamikaze move to destroy a very giant laser the Rebellion the First Order was using to destroy the base. And at this point, we see Luke coming out of the base. He kisses his sister Leia in the forehead and gives a wink to 3PO. He walks outside to the base to confront the First Order and Kylo Ren. So Kylo Ren looks at Luke and he orders the ship, the ATST, the First Order walkers, to start shooting at him. So basically, they send a barrage of lasers to Luke, and he just walks out and he kind of wipes his arm from dust or whatever it was. So at this point, Kylo Ren goes down from his ship and confronts Luke. And Luke tells him that if Kylo strikes Luke down, he's gonna turn more powerful than he can possibly imagine. Same kind of a reflection of what Ben Kenobi told Darth Vader before Darth Vader destroyed him. So at this point, Luke and Kylo start fighting. Kylo kind of uses a move that basically looks like he kind of caught Luke in half, but as a matter of fact, he did not. What happened was that Luke used a force projection. He was still in Act 2 to show that basically distract Kylo while the rest of the Resistance was fleeing. So at this point, when Kylo finds out that he was being an idiot, and he finds out that Luke distracted him, the Resistance is able to escape, and by doing so, Rey is able to find out that where they were, and at that point, Luke dies in Act 2 because he used all his life force to make this reflection of himself and all across probably thousands of light years away. And he dies. He basically disappears just like Yoda and Ben Kenobi did before him. Long story short, the rebellion is basically saved to live another day, and we cut back to the planet Casino, where there was a group of kids taking care of the fox/horses. And one of the kids goes out to the night as he's just walking his night outside. He's looking at the stars. He somehow is able to pick up the brooms. Probably, there was a hint that he was a Force user. And he was looking at the stars, and he kind of welded the broom like a lightsaber, pretty much. And this was before there was another group of kids inside the building he came from that were talking about how cool it was that they basically were hearing the story about Luke confronting Kylo Ren in that planet, and basically talking about how cool Luke Skywalker was and whatever. So this kid just goes outside, as I said before. He looks at the stars, and he looks like he'll be a Force user because he kind of picked up a broom out of nowhere. He just extended his hands, and the broom just went back to him. Anyway. And that's how it ends. That was the end of The Last Jedi, pretty much. And now I will gonna give you my opinions. The good thing about the film, I'm gonna start with that. The good thing that I really liked was the cameo from Yoda. Of course, some people didn't like it, but I like it. I like the last scene with Luke. I think it was a proper end to him. Although that was it. I mean, I will talk about more of that later. Uh, Paul Dameron, Finn, the rest of the gang, they're okay. Uh, I think the idea that everybody can be a Force user, that would be nice to explore. Um, because that's the way basically the Force by healing itself. It's not like midi-chlorian count or did you have to have the Jedi's to take control of that. That's something that Luke kind of let people know, or basically Rey know, that the Jedi didn't have a monopoly on the Force, and that's why he kind of realized that the Jedi were supposed to end with him. Even though I disagree that I think the Jedi are a good group of people, they were focused on the military side and were not using it for humanitarian purposes. That's what I understand it. But other than that, yeah, I mean, the Jedi are cool. I really like the Jedi. Anyway, the bad stuff or the weird stuff. I don't know how they treated the term with Leia floating in space. I think that was kind of disrespectful to Carrie Fisher in terms of she died, and he was like, "Oh, she's not dead. She can just pop out of nowhere." That was kind of, I don't know. I found it kind of a little bit disrespectful just because she died, and I didn't like that. The idea of looking like I just don't know. Anyway, I think it was supposed to die, and just let her rest in peace because she was the only actor that was able to manage to play her. I think I missed a couple of things, but the bad stuff, also the other bad stuff that I didn't like too much was that the starships just basically running out of fuel. That story was complete crap. I will have, if I was the Kathleen Kennedy, I will have ordered the writers to come up with something better. Just because, come on, guys, you're talking about a Type 3 civilization that runs around basically across the galaxy. They can run in just a couple of hours from one side of the galaxy to the another. That was ridiculous. Other than that, the story was interesting. I think there was supposed to be a little bit more consistency from the first film. For instance, we saw the first film. Basically, we see Kylo basically leading a group of people. So what was a scene with Rey having visions of the past, where Kylo was basically stabbing people in the back and killing them, and then we have basically we have Luke holding a mechanical robot arm, holding R2D2 side, and that scene was not there. There was kind of inconsistency going on there, and that was kind of like, okay. So what happened in this first movie? What happened? What really happened? Was this the first movie was telling the truth, or this is the real scene? And I was really weird, and I was kind of weirded out about all this thing. People say that Rey's a Mary Sue. I don't know about that. Yeah, she's a little bit overpowered, but if you think about it, so are many characters from fantasy like Goku, like Dragon Ball Z, or Superman, or even Thor. Basically, all the characters in the new Marvel films are very overpowered, so I don't see anybody complain about it. It's basically, they can kill or fight very godlike villains. and they're kind of grown out. Basically, for instance, Thor fought off with Hela, and the only thing he lost was his eye, his left eye, I think it was. Anyway, it is okay. It is okay to be overpowered, and basically raise the new, basically female Superman type of character that Star Wars was looking to have somehow. Is it good or bad? Only time will tell. Only episode 9 will tell. I think The Force Awakens was a little bit much better built story than this one was. It's not basically what I really the really pet peeve that I have about this film. It's not pet peeve, but probably a plot hole. I kind of identify like a plot hole was the starships running really slow, and then the First Order, instead of destroying them right there, right now, they was kind of gaining time. I don't know what they were gaining time for. They were kind of really inconsistent in terms of, okay, you don't want to take care of things, okay, that's your problem, but that's gonna bite you later. So probably that was the hubris of the First Order. They were kind of, they like to take care, they take their sweet time to get things done, and that was their final death. They just waited too long. Anyway, long story short, I give this film 7.5 out of 10. I think The Force Awakens was a little better, much better built story than this one was. A little bit disappointed about Rian Johnson, but hopefully things are gonna get better for episode 9. I'm looking forward to it. If you have any comments about this, just let me know. You want to see more about this, also please let me know. And again, remember to like, and if you want to subscribe as well, please subscribe and let me know if you like the film or not and how much you will rate it. And that's all for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you. Goodbye. Keep gaming.